Hey, happy Friday, everyone. It is 10 p.m. on Friday, March 19, 2021. Hope everybody's doing well and hope you had a good week. Although you might be able to tell by what you see on the chart that I'm showing you right now that it wasn't really a great week in the market, um, especially if you're a trend trader. So if you're a scalper or you trade on really short time frames, it might have been a busy week for you. I don't know how profitable it would be. But anyways, there's been a lot of pairs in this past week that basically have just continued to move in a range. We've seen a lot of trends just kind of stalled out. Now I'm talking about around the 30-minute to the 4-hour time frame, and even on the daily chart if you want to extrapolate on the 4-hour. But to really see these consolidation zones, you have to drop down. So this happens to be the dollar yen hourly chart. And this actually has been going on since long before this week. It's been in this sideways pattern for 2 weeks now. And it just continues. And it's very easy to see these ranges. Obviously, you can just tell visually by looking at them. But if you find the time frame where it kind of stretches out, where you can really see the detail of it, I find it helpful just to take your rectangle box, if you're in MetaTrader or any charting platform that has drawing tools, and just kind of put it around there and just kind of try to find the highs and lows of the range. Now again, if you're a very short time frame trader, you're a scalper, then you can still trade in these kind of conditions. I don't find that worthwhile in the least. I want to trade impulsive trends, and I got to tell you, I took a few trades this week thinking that some of these ranges would break out, and they didn't, and I ended up either having a loss or closing with a small profit or break even or whatever. So it was a pretty quiet week this week, and I'm just going to quickly go through the charts and see that we have this on a lot of pairs that I follow, and it's just kind of continuing. So the good thing about this kind of stuff is when they finally do break out, that it's going to be very impulsive, and you're going to probably see significant movements. But how long these sideways action goes on, who knows? So. But like I said, once they finally do break, you generally will see some good movement. So you have that to look forward to. But in the meantime, you got to be a little bit patient. So I'm just going to just randomly start from here. This is one of the exotic pairs, the dollar Swedish krona. You can see sideways, been going on again for a week and a half or so, just inside this range. Looked like we had a little fake breakout here, and now we've dropped back into the range again. And again, this is the hourly chart. This is the Euro Norwegian krona. Again, it's kind of the opposite of the dollar Swedish krona. And again, sideways price action. Again, a little breakout here. I thought it was going, and then we've closed back inside this range again. So let's see what happens here. But same thing. Same thing on the dollar Norwegian krona. Same exact thing. Just sideways price action since. This actually goes back pretty far. This is the 4-hour chart. This sideways action, really, if you want to really extend it here, I mean, I could even draw this box out to here. This goes back to the beginning of the year. It's been moving sideways. And again, this is a 4-hour chart, so a little bit longer time frame. Now here's one that's not. This is the pound yen. And you can see, again, the pound yen on the daily chart is still in an uptrend. However, we did have some significant divergence at this high, and so we have seen it pull back. We're still nowhere near ending this downtrend. So I do have this up arrow potentially. If price holds probably around this area, it might come down a little bit more than I would expect this uptrend to resume. You can see the MACD is just breaking into the negative territory. So again, a good setup would be to have this red line come back down here to the green line or down, and then turn back up to resume the uptrend. And as long as this 200 period is holding price, then I wouldn't necessarily look to for a trend reversal here. Here we are on the hourly chart, and again, I still could potentially be a little bit more downside on this, but I would expect that this will turn back up. So this will be one I'll be watching next week for a potential reversal. So pound kiwi also moving sideways. This is the 4-hour chart, again, goes back to basically back to the beginning of March, late February. This has been moving sideways on the 4-hour chart, and you can see it on the 1-hour chart, just stuck inside this range. Pound US dollar, same thing. This is the 4-hour chart. You can probably move this down a little bit, stuck inside this range on the 4-hour. There it is on the 1-hour, just very messy, up and down, sideways. So we'll see what happens with this. From a technical Elliott wave standpoint, well, I could see this making another run down. That this could be like looks like maybe an A pattern A, and then this is a sideways B, and then we go down for wave C for another push down. But I'm not calling that right now. It's just with this range, who knows how long this range is going to continue. So same thing on the pound Swiss. So you kind of get the story here, folks, right? Now here's another exception, would be the Canadian yen. Again, the Canadian yen has been very strong to the upside. Here we are daily, and we do not have divergence on the MACD. We made a new high in price. We've also made a new high on the MACD. So I would take any pullback as potential buying opportunities. We go down to the 1-hour. We did come all the way back down and retest the moving average, and MACD may be turning back up. We'll see. I'd have to see some more price action, to confirm this going back up. This would be a low-risk place to enter. If you wanted to enter now, you could just buy market here and put a stop maybe a little bit below this low. I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down and try to retest this again if it's going to continue up. So the CAD yen is another exception. The CAD Swiss, on the other hand, again, sideways. Dollar yen we already talked about. Dollar Swiss, same thing. Okay, dollar CAD is another one that still has potential. So now you've seen we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pairs. And we've had, 2 that are potentially still trending, okay? 2 or 3 that are still trending out of 15. So, 20% of those pairs are still trending. And the fact of the matter is, and some of you guys may have heard this, and I don't know if this is an accurate statistic, but it sounds about right, that about 75% of the time, any instrument, whether it's a Forex pair, a stock, a commodity, whatever, about 75% of the time it's going to be in some kind of consolidation phase, which means it only trends about 25% of the time. So you can also extend that to say 75% of these instruments will be moving sideways. And that is about the case right now. This is one on the dollar CAD that potentially expect the downtrend to continue. I do see divergence here on the MACD, so I'm a little concerned about it. But from where price is right now on the hourly chart, this does appear like it wants to turn down again. But I'd like to see the MACD really roll back straight down. But the market closed, on the lows, so that is potentially bearish for next week. EUROCAD, again, same thing, sideways, although I do expect this, obviously it's come back up to the top of this triangle and this square, and I expect it to continue down. But it is inside of a range. EUROKiwi, really just an ugly chart. I mean, look at this thing on the hourly chart. I mean, come on. If you're trying to trade this, you just have way too much time on your hands. Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie, there's no consolidation sideways, although it is consolidating down. I mean, if you took all this price action and pushed it up a little bit, you would have perfect sideways. But this is corrective, and to me, this is a correction to an uptrend. So we had this impulsive move up. Now, even though the trend is still down, this is really strong price action, and now followed by just kind of this meandering, not really very impulsive move to the downside. If you compare that to here, we had an ABC, and then we quickly went to the downside here. We had a push up, straight impulsive move, and now we're just kind of drifting. So, and there is divergence too. And again, divergence would be, in this case, in the case of falling prices, where price goes down, doesn't quite make a new low, but it's pretty close. to even just coming back to this low. But look at the indicator. The indicator is actually not tracking lower with it. It's actually rising as the price is falling. So that's what you call bullish divergence. And it doesn't mean it's going to pop up, but the fact that this is impulsive, this looks corrective, and we have divergence, I do expect to, potentially see another push up on this pair. Now, whether it breaks out of this downside, I mean, this is the range inside this these two lines. I'd probably have to see a close above this to even want to think about it. And if we did that, I think we'd make at least the same move up as this. So, if we broke out, off this low, I'd expect, wherever that low ends up being, I expect about 400 pips to the upside. So, but let's wait and see what this does. So that's another one I'll be watching. Euro pound, again, sideways. We had a little foolio right here, right, where price, right there, we can drop this line. Fooled you right here, right? Price broke out. You think, okay, it's out of the range, and you go long, and then, oh, no, sorry. And this happens all the time, guys. And there's really, unfortunately, not a heck of a lot you can do about these. I just, breakouts sometimes will fool you. So, even if you were waiting for a pullback, if you watch the breakout and then price got back down here, candle, maybe this close of this candle, like, all right, I'm just going to be aggressive and take the long right here, and then just came right back down and probably stopped you out. So, another one that's technically still in a range. So here's Euro Yen. Again, some of these yen pairs that could potentially be tradable if these corrections end. So again, same thing, daily chart made a new high, no divergence on the MACD. We did obviously have it here on the 4-hour. Prices kind of come down, and it's actually respecting this trend line, still above the 200. We do have the MACD moving down below the 0 line, so I'll keep an eye on this one to potentially turn back up. So, and at least go back to this previous high. Euro dollar, again, like the Euro Swiss, moving sideways. Really nothing there to even discuss too much. Aussie dollar, again, this is a little bit bigger range, but yet still range. I mean, we go back to this high back here. This happened back at the beginning of March. And here we are, 2+ weeks later, and we're really not very far off of that high from where it was. So, in fact, earlier this week, we were right back to that high. So, it's just no progress being made in the course of several weeks. Aussie Swiss, just really bad. And you can extend this one even further. This has been going on since, again, the beginning of March. That's the hourly chart. There's the 4-hour. The daily. I just think even though this is moving, we had this impulsive move down. I'm just going to watch this one. I don't really have any opinion about it, but it's got to give you some kind of signal either in or out of this trading range. So, and here's the Aussie yen. This is a yen pair that it's a little bit better. I was showing you other yen pairs that actually had opportunity. The problem I have with this one is that it's come back to this recent high, and now it seems to be pulling back. So this is not a good place to enter it. Anyways, I'd expect a deeper correction, but this is I guess you consider it impulsive, but it's not very impressive. So Kiwi yen looks much like the Aussie yen. Again, we came back to the recent high and have pulled back. And so, let's see where this goes. Is this just going to be an A, B, C correction? Maybe, and then it turns back up. We'll see how it goes, but I would expect that we'll see this, correction, at least back to this area before this does anything. So, and if it breaks through here, then it's going down far. So, if it breaks below this purple line, then closes below the 200, then expect a much deeper pullback. But right now, this is the early target right here. Kiwi Swiss, again, not really much comment needed. And that's it. So, that's it. This Kiwi yen is potentially, I guess you could maybe trade this to the downside. Again, I don't really like trading these ranges. But, maybe you trade this one back because it hasn't gotten anywhere near this line yet, so that's about 80 pips away. So, you know, potentially you could look for another little pullback here and then a short, and then, but I would be looking to at least take, you know, part of my profits off at this level if you were so inclined, which I'm not really at this point, but this is one, if you were going to trade it in kind of in a range, this would be one to maybe consider. And the Aussie yen maybe too. These are two maybe you could consider for, you know, to take some shorts, short-term shorts, but shorts nonetheless on these. So, all right. So, you know, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I just wanted to kind of point out that sometimes you're going to have periods like this. This is a little unusual this time of year to have things so quiet. Usually this, you know, more active time of year. A lot of the stuff looks like, you know, summertime or, you know, after, you know, holiday period, you know, Christmas time-ish volatility. You know, to see that this time of year is just a lot of uncertainty in the markets. I just think with everything going on globally with COVID and turmoil in different countries and, you know, change of administrations here in the U.S., I just think it's a lot of uncertainty about what's going on. And so you're seeing a lot of this push-pull in the markets. And you're just seeing a lot of money sitting on the sideline, quite frankly. That's what's causing this. You know, there's not a lot of big dollars flowing into these currencies. And so the pairs aren't moving. And until something changes, that's the way it's going to stay. Now, I could change on Monday. I have no idea. There'll be some catalyst to eventually, but you know, eventually they will start trending again. But you just got to be patient. I'm going to leave all of these boxes on the pairs that I showed you, and I'll just keep extending the box if the ranges persist. I'll just keep moving this box to the right until at some point it'll break out, and then I will potentially look to re-enter. So with the exception of those few that I showed you, that still I think could have some motion outside of the ranges, and maybe these two yen pairs that maybe you could play the move down. But other than that, I would stay away from probably what 20 out of the 25 pairs or so I went through. So all right, guys, I'll leave it there, a little bit different, but I just want to show you that this does happen, and just to be patient. Again, unless you're scalping and taking trades on, you know, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute time frame, which I don't advise, but knock yourself out if you want to do it. Unless you're trading on those kind of short time frames, most of these pairs you just want to avoid right now, because you're just going to get whipsawed around. So, all right, so I'll leave it there. Questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the chat below. Please smash that like button, helps with the YouTube algorithms. And down in the lower right corner, you should see a little subscribe button on in the video. Make sure you hit that and hit the bell notification below, so that when I post a new video, which is only about weekly, you'll be the first to be notified. And again, guys, leave any questions, comments down below, and I will address them myself. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week.